I'm just going insane trying to figure you out, baby. Do my babe. How deep is your love? You got to tell me, girl. How deep is your love? There we go. How deep is your love? Tum, 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 tum. Do we want, do we want, do we want, do we do want, baby? Hey, so bless up and welcome to another episode of the Troy Graham Experience Daddies Lounge number 17. Can you believe that? 17. I'm almost to 20. And I've only missed one day. Just one day when I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling it. I missed one day. I put up two fingers like Brother Man on the fifth floor. But I put up two fingers for one day. That's right. Can you believe it? Can you dig it? Happy, man. Happy. So today's topic, I'm going to touch on the neighborhood father. We all had, I don't know if we all had, but in my neighborhood and growing up, most of us had a neighborhood father. Someone who would watch out for us, get us straight when we were messing up. And I had one of those in the neighborhood. Behind his back, I called him the James Evans of the neighborhood, right? Myself and his son were like, both their sons were real tight. So yeah, we grew up together. Let me do something real quick, y'all. Keep watching. I will be right back. I will be right back. Hopefully, I will mess this up, but hopefully, you can still hear me, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have returned. I just had to go do something real quick. I did it, and I am back. So yeah, man. Tonight should be a very, very good show. Uh, you know, very good show, man. I'm stalling because I'm expecting somebody. So this is me stalling. I could tell the story, but I won't wait till they get here and I'll tell the story. But long and short of it, uh, in most neighborhoods coming up, you had that neighborhood father, who would see which direction you were going in. If you needed a positive push, they would give you that positive push. If you needed if you were going off to the left, they bring you back by any means necessary because those type of fathers or men were usually friends with your family at that point. So it wasn't like a stranger coming up to you saying, "I'm gonna beat your behind, boy." No, it was somebody that knew your people and all of that, right? And they knew you, and they had sons your age, and you hung out with them, and they knew you. Let's get that straight. And so if they saw you even breathing differently, they'd be like, "What's up? What you into? What's going on? I see you out here breathing through one nostril. You're not breathing through your mouth. You, just I'm not doing that again." But they would set you straight. They definitely would set you straight. And I was blessed enough to have more than one of those. I had I'm not gonna. I'll wait till he comes. A brother by the name of Mr. Simmons. His son Cauzel was my brother. He's still my brother after all these years. We've known each other since we were single digits. Yeah, since we were single digits. Now both of us are fathers. I don't know if he's a grandfather, though, but I know we're both fathers of some adult children. But yeah, I can't wait to tell some of these stories. I'm gonna give him some time to come on here, and then we'll start sharing some stuff. But I don't know how many out there remember had a neighborhood father, man. If y'all want to tell your stories, feel free to come up on the panel. I'd love to hear them. But I was just so blessed. Like I said, I had two of them. Mr. Simmons was one, and Mr. Deacon John Topper was the other one. Big gentleman, 6'3", about 300 pounds. He ran an after school program on Fridays at the basement of this church right next to his church, right next to his house. It wasn't our church. He was a deacon at another church, but he ran he ran that after school program. Uh, Hold on a second. Yeah, I just need to blow my nose. I didn't need to hear or see that, but Mr. Topper ran the after school program on I think Fridays. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, right? And he didn't take no stuff. Don't fight. Don't try and fight down there in that basement. It was a pool table down there with the table hockey thing, and some other stuff. If you needed to talk, you'd go in his office. But it was a mixture of teenagers and younger teens. I think the youngest person there was probably 13 because I was 15. So yeah, I think that was about right. And y'all let me know if you could hear that. I'm curious if anybody could hear that. But what you learned more than anything in there is about manhood and how to settle conflicts. That's what he taught. He taught us that in church too. I don't. How do I explain this? We went to church, and some of us carried the cross like this. Other had the thing with the smoke coming out of it that you would wheel it around and look all fancy. That's what I did, and I messed up the first day. I think I clocked somebody in the head with that damn thing. He made me carry. No, he made me get. He taught me. He said you just gonna have to grow on it. You're gonna have to learn it. You're not running away from this. You know. So I enjoyed. I had a lot of good memories with him. I remember crying when the brother passed away from cancer. I was 17, and I spent the whole summer in Maryland with my mom because I broke my leg. So I didn't see him that whole summer. And then when I came back, he had no. That's a lie. The whole part of that, I'm leaving out a big chunk of that story. So Mr. Topper was always this big guy, like I said, 300 pounds, 6'3", and I met him in church. And on Saturdays we would practice. The altar boys, what we were called, the altar boys, would practice and all that. And I was there, and I shied to the back, and I kept just shying to the back, shying to the back. So one day he pulled me aside and said, "Why are you here? Why are you here?" I said, "Well, because I want to learn." He said, "You don't know. You're here because you're running away from something. You're using church as your getaway. Stop using the church as your getaway and come with a purpose." Now, if you want to talk to me, let me know. So he gave me his number. I never called him. I'm 15. What am I gonna do? Calling this grown man, right? Old enough to be my granddaddy. So finally, he pulled me aside one day after church in front of my grandmother and said, he explained to my grandmother, I would like him to come to practice on Saturdays, but he has to come and with a purpose and not trying to just get away from home. So can you make sure he comes on Saturdays and I'll make sure he's ready on Sunday? She's like, yes. So that's what he did. So every Saturday from I think 1 to 3, 1 to 2, something like that, I was in church practicing until I finally got it down. And I would just fling that thing like it was nothing, y'all. I was whoosh, all the incense. I was a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I'm just talking about incense in church. But yeah, he taught me about inner strength and responsibility and not shying away from your problems to face them head on. That's what I learned from Mr. Topper. and I became extremely close. We used to go out all the time. If he knew what he was going to the hardware store, he would call, and then my grandma was like, "Mr. Tucker wants you to go with him to the hardware store." And we'd go to the hardware store and different stuff. And every time he introduced me, he would tell people I'm his grandson because they knew he had a grown son old enough to be my father. So, you know, that's something I'll always remember. I remember that time. And he was accosting somebody when he was away from the church or just outside the church. And he had this thunderous voice, man. I mean, his voice was like thunder cracking the wind on this. Boom! It's just his voice was incredible. So when he spoke, especially when he raised his voice, all of us just, even the biggest ones amongst us, even the big one, the big one amongst us, Marvin, I think his name was. Brother had a grown body at 16, grown man body at 16, looked like a WWF wrestler. Yes, WWF wrestler, not WWE. And so, you know, just those memories I remember because he was there for me through a lot of times. Through a lot of times he was there. Uh, he was there when I my first time. Yes, that first time. I ran and told him what happened, and he was like, "Well, you tell your grandmother?" I said, "No, no, I didn't tell her. I don't know how to tell her." And I told him the young lady was older than me, and all that. I didn't know what I was doing. She knew what she was doing. She was about 3 years older than me. I was about 15. She was about 18. That's a story for another day. But he's the one I spoke to after that happened. Then he said, "Is it someone from the church?" I'm like, "Nah, it's not. It was my old babysitter's daughter. When I had a babysitter at 9, she was 12, right? So that's who she was. My old babysitter's daughter." And he helped me through it because I was all nervous. I was like, "I think I got her pregnant." Like, boy, you don't know. But yeah, I gotta get my laptop and stuff back because every time a call comes in, I get knocked off. But I remember those days with him, and then I just learned so much other stuff with him because he was a Bob the Builder type of man. So I learned how to build a lot of stuff with him, and just he always got my confidence up. Because I was a stuttering little something when I was coming up, and he taught me about confidence and how to stand up for myself. Not that I wouldn't fight. I mean, I would, but I literally, you had to say something about my grandmother to get me to fight, or just drop a mountain on me and I would just blow up, right? So he taught me how to control all that. Now I'll always be thankful for meeting him. He was a good guy. It was hard on me sometimes, but he was a good man. Now, Mr. Simmons, now I met him. I've known him since I was about 8 or 9, I think. That's when I met. I think 9 is when I met Carzell and Aaron. I think so. So he's known me for years, man. Wow. Think about that. Think about that indeed. 46 years. Yeah. With him, it was that sometimes they come over and eat with us. Sometimes I go over there and eat at their house. Me and my grandmother. And he come in and fix stuff around the house. And he was soft spoken compared to Mr. Topper, who was boom, boom, boom. Mr. Simmons was firm but soft spoken. He didn't raise his voice too much, but when he spoke to you, you were like this. You stood at attention like you was in the military, like, "Yes, sir. No, sir." That's it. You didn't have nothing else to say. And he let you know that, look, I talk first. That don't work. I got to get the belt. Well, you don't want that belt, but just like good times, you had to had the Whopper, the Big Mac, and different levels of spankings you got. So you can say that I got a few of them. Yeah, you can say that. I got a few of them. I got a few. So yeah, but it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't for nothing either. Sometimes you caused it, when you don't want to, when you want to cut school and do different things like that. I remember I had another friend, a childhood friend named Sam. I still keep in touch with him. He we used to cut uh, we used to cut school, you know. So I could go to Rucker Park. We used to go to Rucker Park. If y'all know New York, you know about Rucker Park. Watch them boys play ball, right? They were some monsters down there, man. I could guarantee you I seen some of the cats that went to the NBA in the 80s and 90s. I could guarantee you I did. They were monsters. Everybody was doing the Dominique with the tomahawk jam when he wheels it, bam, come down on you hard like it was personal to him, right? And one day we were trying to get back to school before time was up, and no, 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 we had stopped at Sam's mom's house. I forgot why we stopped there, and guess who got off work early? His mama. On that day, she was a neighborhood dad, and she was like, "Man, I don't know what y'all doing in my house, but I know you're supposed to be in school. If y'all don't get back to school, I'm gonna kill y'all dead." I'll never forget that. Well, I'll never ever forget those words. She said, "I'm gonna kill y'all dead." So we stumbled and headed back out. What we didn't know is I think she had caught a cab to the school. So she was really up on her game. So she was waiting for us when we got there, and we left the house before her. She was just waiting. She was waiting for it. She said, "I was waiting to see if y'all would come back." I said, "Yeah, you gonna kill us, Dad?" She said, "Right here in this school too, with this belt." Oh boy, Sam couldn't tell me nothing. He didn't tell us anything, man. We said, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill your dad, baby." I remember I was thankful. I remember those words so much that I was thankful for those too, because you don't know what or where you would go without a little push, without a little profound love, as I like to say. You don't always have to be heavy-handed, but it has to come with enough force to let you know that I'm not playing with you. It don't always have to come heavy-handed, but it has to come when you put your hand on their shoulders and like, you know what will happen if you don't listen, right? Yeah, you don't get no second response after that. There's none needed. Like, yep, I'm never cutting school again, ever. And that was that. But man, those are the times I remember about the neighborhood dads, man, neighborhood fathers, man. I don't know how it is today because I'm grown and I don't know with neighborhood fathers. You know how people are about their kids today. So I don't know too much of those. Those gentlemen probably exist, but they can't do as much as the ones did when I was coming up. You get arrested for that now. Even if you're friends with the, sometimes even when you're friends with the a child's parent, you still might get out. You ain't supposed to be spanking my child and all that, but that little tap on the behind saved your son or daughter from doing something. You know, it never hurt me. I'm fine with it. Of course, I'm 54 now. At least I will be. But yeah, man, it's a blessing. Those things still make me smile. They still do. No matter what, those neighborhood fathers will always hold a place in my heart because I always remember them. Always, always. So yeah, and hell, even sometimes I think nowadays you can have some neighborhood fathers that are even online. You know, because I remember doing a show with my brother here, Major Key, and we did. It was I want to say we interviewed Simon Brown that night, and after the interview was done, talked to some people, and some was a guy jumped on the panel, and he was like, I lost my brother not too long ago, man, and I thought about killing myself. But I started listening to y'all show, and now y'all had one of my favorite fighters on, Simon Brown. Y'all saved my life. He basically told us where we saved his life, and I won't forget that either. The situation's changed. We were the neighborhood fathers now, because and I won't forget that because you really don't. Excuse me. You really don't know what effect your voice has on here until people think when you get a bunch of numbers and you get people on a panel that a lot of times people watch you in silence, right? And they grow with you as the show grows. And a lot of time they tap into you because they just like to hear what you have to say, or just for distraction to take them out of reality sometimes, take them away from whatever pain they're going through. And that's what the neighborhood father always meant to me. You know, they saved me from myself quite a bit, quite a bit. Those talks and those firm sit downs in front of my grandmother too. They'd be in my grandmother's house, like that's your grandmother. She love you. I love you too. But at the end of the day, if I catch you out here messing around out here, I'm gonna grab you up, and you know what's gonna come next. My grandmother, beat him if I'm wrong, beat him. And I'm like, I thought you said you love me. Love you, yes, but you need a beating, man. Like, okay, sure, beat me. Oh boy, she said beat him. But yeah, uh, oh Lord have mercy. That was funny. I remember those talks. I'll never forget them, and and now at my age, where I'm a father and a grandfather, I'm so thankful for them. And at one point, when I was raising my kids, I became similar to the neighborhood dad. I don't know why I did it at first because it was so annoying. I guess that's just my way of getting inside. I did study hall, right? Not study hall. It was detention during school hours. Study hall is after school hours, I believe. But anyway, so when the kids had detention, when it was just the boys, I was fine with it because I'm right. I can deal with boys. But one day they put me in detention with a bunch of little junior high school girls. I said, nope, nope. You get a female teacher up here. Principal was like, please do it. I don't have any teachers. I said, I can't. Those are girls. I can't be in a no because they could say I did anything. She said, but there's cameras in the room. I said, that look, I don't care. I didn't feel safe. It had nothing to do with any ill intentions that I had, but I didn't feel comfortable being in there with a room full of little girls, mouthy and carrying on and all that. I don't want to deal with that. So I eventually she talked me into staying, and sure enough, there was a fight. Sure enough, and I told them, did I separate them? Hell no. I didn't put my hands on them kids, them little girls. I told them to sit the hell down. You're acting like damn fools. And they all look, "Oh, you cussed at us, Mr. G. I'm gonna tell my mama." I said, please do. She fine. I would say anything to get them to stop fighting. They start laughing at that. So I went and got the principal, and they were like, he cussed at us. I'm gonna tell my mama. So sure enough, the first girl who said she was gonna get her mama, the one who had to find mama, she came to school the next day. And Mr. G put on his best Billy D impression for you. I tell you that you should. That woman was fine, y'all, just fine. So Anyway, she comes to the office. They told me to meet her in the auditorium, but she was in the office, and she'd never met me before. She had no idea what I looked like. So she was like, "I'm here to see the principal about Mr. G cussing at my daughter." And before I had a chance to say anything, I walked into the office, and the secretary who knew me was just like this. And she said, "That's," and I could see her. She's like, "That's so and so's mama." I said, "Oh, I know who it is," because she was fine. I said, "I know who it is." So I was like, I walked up to her, I said, "Good morning, how you doing?" And she looked up at me with this look like, she went, mm-hmm. I was like, okay. So she was like, "Yeah, I'm waiting." So I said, you waiting to see the principal too, huh?" She's like, "Yeah." "Did you have a daughter up in study hall and Mr. G was cussing them out?" I said, "No, I didn't have a daughter, but I know what happened up there." "How you know what happened up there if you weren't there?" I said, "Because I'm Mr. G." She was like, "Oh, okay. Why you cussing my damn daughter?" She's telling me, "Hey, why I cuss at her?" I said, "First of all, I said damn in hell." I'm sure she's heard worse. But I didn't touch them. They were fighting and throwing perfume and carrying on, and I was not going to try and separate them. I'm a grown man. So I told them to sit down. You acting like damn fools. That's exactly what I said. "That's all you said?" I said, "Yeah." She came home, made me thought that you were really cussing and carrying on at her. She said, "Yeah, Mr. G is big and he dark, and he was cussing at all of us in there." And she asked her, "Were you, hey, brother, were you worried?" And she's like, "No, Mr. G wouldn't hurt us, but he cusses, though. He cussed at us, Mom." So once I settled all that with her mom, that's when the Billy D came in. So I said, "We all good now?" She's like, "We good, just don't be cussing around my daughter no more. My damn daughter." "Okay, sure." I said, "Well, I won't cuss at your daughter if you if you have dinner with me." And she's like, "Are you serious? I came here to I came here to tear you apart, and here you are asking me out." I said, "Well, why not just get your number then if you don't want to go out with me?" She's like, "You're not going to stop until I say yeah, are you?" "No, I'm not going to stop until you say yes." So she eventually gave me a number, and Mr. G. We'll leave that story for another day. This is about neighborhood daddy. It's not about Mr. G's love life. All right? So that's just, and that when I was in culinary school too, when the table switched and I was now the neighborhood daddy, I would bake. You know how you in school and there's other students who they would bake so much bread and cookies and everything else that uh, Kenny Porter's right hand, salute brother, but I would bring home like bags, a big long bag of goodies, and what I would do, I would take it. I would stand outside by the school bus. No, I would take it to the cafeteria lady and ask her to bag it up for me, and she would give the kids the cookies individually. Because after a while, I was like, "Look, I'm not bagging all this up no more for these kids. This is tiring." But the cafeteria ladies decided to do it. But they started running up to me. The parents, after a while, was like, "Where your bag of stuff at? How come you don't have none?" I said, "I got it. I gave it to the cafeteria lady to bag up." "Yeah, but you got to make sure that my child gets something to take home." I said, "No, I don't." See how that is? That's what happens when you have a good heart. Sometimes people are going to take advantage of you. I'm doing this for the children, but the parents want to tell me about what I need to do and how much I need to give. "Well, I got 3 children. You got to give us more." "No, I know the hell I don't. I didn't start this for you, and I'm not going to end it for you either." I got so offended, and I looked at them. I was like, "I'm not doing nothing for you. I'm doing it for the children. If you want to go into the cafeteria, but they're not going to give us nothing. They don't give it to the kids." "Well, good. They're not supposed to give you nothing. It's for the children. What about us? What about you?" And I got 4 kids. I should get more than everybody else, which is why I stopped doing it. I mean, I stopped giving it out myself because those cafeteria ladies didn't play. I just couldn't deal with all that. That's whole. I'll be the neighborhood father and mentor, but I couldn't deal with that type of ignorance. I just couldn't deal with it. Couldn't do it, right? So, but I had a good time at it, man, because when you come up and you have these neighborhood fathers that help you grow to be a man, and you have your own father who helps you grow to be a man, then that gets inside your system, and you just grow with it. I'm gonna give them 5 more minutes. If they don't come on, I'll just start telling you stories about the Simmons family because it's a half an hour in now. So I'll give it 5 more minutes, and one day I'll have them both on the show, the father and the son. But I'm gonna give them till the 35-minute mark. But like I said, I'll always be thankful for those gentlemen who took the time to invest in me, and I'm not their child. It was a blessing and a wonderful thing for me because sometimes when you're growing up in just a rough area, like most of us do, you can be taken in that direction, even though you don't want to go. But sometimes you're just afraid to say no, and then other times you run away and you bump heads with somebody who won't let you say no. And then there's a guy that walks in the middle of the street. He ain't. He's just. You're not gonna change his mind. You know. So I remember all those lessons I was taught, and you know, I tried to pass most of them on to my sons, and I did pass them on to my daughter and their uncle. Uh, just thankful for them, man. I'm thankful for them because they showed me what men what men should do. You know, or how men should react. Because I've never seen the two men that I mentioned to you, Mr. Simmons and Mr. Topper. I've never seen either one of them in the street getting into some altercation. I've never seen them hitting a woman, drink, smoke, anything like that. And I kind of modeled myself after those type of men. Firm but fair. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but that's a story for another day, right? All I know is that I remember those nights when I ate with them. I remember those nights where we knew we were about to get something, me and Cauzel, because his father didn't speak to us at the dinner table or nothing. He just kind of, he just looked at you. And we were like, man, we gonna get it. We gonna get it. He's like, you gonna get something. I'm gonna get double because you involved. I got something. He got something double because he would. He was the older one, so he would always run his pranks on me, run his jokes on me, and he older. I looked up to him, so I would accept it. That and the fact that he had better hands than me still does. Don't tell him I said that, right? He was part of that. He was in that group, what they called around the neighborhood. It was Sir Hands a lot, and he definitely had hands. Boy could fight. I could never get his timing. Anytime you're fighting somebody and they switch their timing up mid-fight, it throws you off. That's what he did. Kind of like someone's constant. They switch southpaw to orthodox, and you don't know when they're gonna switch. He did that with his timing. So he would do 1, 2, or he would go 1, 2, 3, and then he would go 1, pause 3, and then just blew me, just blew me up. I couldn't keep up with him with the hands and all that. Couldn't do it. But yeah, he always looked out for me. One of these days I'm gonna do it. See if I get some of my neighborhood brothers to come on here and discuss stuff. So yeah, but I don't. Maybe if someone could come on here and tell me if there's neighborhood dads still around in the neighborhoods, I would love to hear those stories about neighborhood dads that are still in the neighborhood. Because I'm not out and about that much, so I don't know. I really don't know, but I'd love to hear from someone. I'd love to hear it. I'd even love to hear from the older cats who could tell me how the neighborhood worked who came along before me. You know, they were born probably in the 50s or 60s, and they could tell their stories. I'm gonna get to that one day. I'm gonna grow big enough to have people come on and share those stories. But look, right now I'm crawling. Eventually, I'm gonna walk, and then I'm gonna run, and then I'm gonna soar. I'm gonna fly, fly like an eagle. Yeah, that's the chair, by the way. I'm in one of these computer desk chairs. Need some WD 40 or something. But okay, it's the 30, it's going on a 36-minute mark, so I'll tell the story. So one day, myself and brother Corzell, we uh we cut school. This had to be 83, 84 because 48 Hours had just come out on DVD, and I think it came out in 82, and back then it didn't come on VHS for, I said DVD, no, VHS. VHS for like over a year and change, right? Or 2 years or whatever the case may be. So his father had the VHS copy of 48 Hours. So we cut school to go watch that. Him and another friend of ours, uh, we're going to leave her out the story. She's an innocent bystander. We're going to leave her out, right? So we watching the show, and he's like, look, it's my daddy's clippers. Troy, man, look like you need a haircut. I'm like, man, keep them things away from me. So him and the other person who was there, the young lady, uh, she tried to hold me down in the seat. He was holding me down, and he thought he had the guard on the clippers, but he didn't. And he gave me a George Jefferson, man. Man, I was so pissed at that boy. He greased. He think greasing up the middle of my head was gonna solve the problem, thinking he funny, right? So he went and got his mama green hair grease and greased up the center of my damn head. Man, I said I can't go home like this. My grandmother killed me. So when I got there, first she busts out laughing. She's like, "What happened?" So I had to tell her the whole story about how I didn't go to school. I cut school and da 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 da. She's like, "Good for you. You should have saved your ball." So she said, "Let's go see Mr. Simmons." I was like, "No." I didn't say that, but in the back of my mind, I was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." So we went over there to Mr. Simmons' house, and he fell out. He fell out laughing. And then my grandmother was like, "Can you take care of this?" And she was like, he was like, "Yeah, but we eating. You want to stay?" And she was like, "No, no, I'm gonna go back home." He's like, "You sure?" And she said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. You take care of him and then send him back afterwards." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So I sat down at the table, had dinner with them, and he didn't say nothing. He didn't say not one blessed word. Me and Cozell was just like looking at each other like that. He was like, "Go ahead, eat up, eat up, eat up, y'all. Eat. There's enough food there. Eat up. Come on. Go ahead, Troy, eat. You used to eating over here anyway. So go ahead." And then he looked up, he's like, Your grandmother said it's okay, okay, right?" I knew what he was talking about. He didn't have to tell me he was gonna beat me, but he didn't even say it. He just said, Your grandmother gave me permission, right?" I said, "Yeah, I know that, man. I know." I don't think I said anything because I was terrified. So I can say now in my 50s, yeah, I'm talking all tough. Yeah, I know what she said. I did not say that back then. I'm 13 years old. What I look like talking to a grown man? I know what you said. I know what she. Don't know I look like talking to a grown man like that. So we sitting at the dining table, me, Cozell, his mom, and his dad, and he was like, "How's the food?" I said, "Oh, it's just good. It's good. It's good." He's like, "Why aren't you eating that? Why are you eating so slow? You better eat that food before you get cold. You're not gonna get no drink till you finish eating." Sure enough, it was red Kool-Aid too. I said, "Okay, at least if I get a beating, I'm gonna be on a full stomach." So he told us go after we ate, go wash our hands, and he said, "Come back to the table." So he's like, "You two decided to cut school come into my house, get my clippers, and play around with them. Don't you think you would have better off in school? Come on, y'all, answer the question. He's like, yeah. And we were like, yeah, yes, yes, yeah. We were like, yes, yes, sir, yes, sir. So, so, let me ask you a question. What do you really think is going to happen? Well, now, Troy, see, I'm going to have to shave your head. And you're going to be bald for a little bit, but it'll grow back. You can't go around looking like 13-year-old George Jefferson. So, that was the first time I had a bald head at 13. So, Mr. Simmons shaved my head. And he's like, after he washed my head and everything, greased it up, he said, that looks good. Go look in the mirror. And Cosell, you go in the room and wait for me. And I'm like, I'll go first. I'll go first. He's like, no, you won't. No, you won't. You're not gonna go first. He is, because he know better. That's my son. He know better. I'll take care of you afterwards. So I had to listen to him spank Cosell. I had to listen to him spank Cosell. And then he was like, come on in here, Troy. I had one foot out that door too. I said, I can make it. He said, if you run today, I'm gonna catch you tomorrow and the next day. And if you and what I was gonna give you tonight might not be that bad, but if I got to run to catch you, you know it's going. Yeah, I know. So I put my foot back in the door. I was serious about running. I wasn't playing. I was serious. So I got a spanking for that. I had my head shaved bald, me, but I catch a spanking. No, but I caught a spanking for cutting school. Let's not lie about that. That was for cutting school, right? Me and him cut school. So he was like, the next time y'all think about cutting school, you come and apologize to me before you even think about it. Well, I'll definitely do that. And how you could feel that belt through your Lee jeans back in the day. That was some good whooping. I didn't have to take off my pants or nothing. He beat me through them jeans. Man. And funny enough, the last time when I left New York, I was 17 going on 18. So that's the last time he really physically saw me, right? And so when I talked to him on the phone again, I was 44. 44 years old. So 37 years later, well, not 37, about 27 years later, he's talking to this young child that he used to mentor and discipline and all that, right? So he was like, Troy, I remember you. I used to whoop your behind. You and my son, man, y'all used to get into some stuff. I said, yeah, man. I'm 44 and a granddaddy now. I don't get beaten no more. He's like, yes, you do. I said, see, that's why you over there and I'm over here. But how you doing, man? He said, man, I'm good. I'm good. Proud of him, man. He retired. He went back down south and he's just chilling on his land, fishing. And I think his mom may still do some teaching. She was a teacher for years. But that's one of those neighborhood daddies, man. I won't forget. I'll never forget him. You know, he helped me. Trust me when I say that man watched over us. He made sure we stayed straight. Wasn't playing around either. We made sure we stayed straight, man. And I was always be thankful for that. Always. Because I'm wondering where would we be if he wasn't there to put that reminder in us. Like you could mess up, but there's a level that you can't go to. You better not go to, and you will not go to. And if I got to love you firmly to make sure you don't get there. It's gonna happen just like that. Don't play around, right? Don't play around. So yeah, so that I remember that, and I could always get help from his mom with my homework. She was a teacher, so yeah, I remember all those things, man. You he called it's not even neighborhoods no more; it's just hoods. I don't even like that damn word to be honest with you, because a hood is something I don't even have one on, but you cover up with a hood. What are we covering up? What are we ashamed of that we got to cover up so much? Hmm? What are we so ashamed of? And maybe if you took that damn hood off and took a look around your neighborhood and got some people, some like-minded people together, you could get that thing back in shape. It'll be a community again. Whatever happened to us where we lost that community? And I'm not just talking to people who look like me. I'm talking to all of us that are at a certain economical level. What happened to us that we don't respect the neighborhood father no more? We don't respect the elders anymore. They try to tell us anything. What happened? Where did that go? Where did that go? Where you cuss and carrying on while these elders are struggling with their groceries and you just steadily effing it up and all that stuff. You're supposed to be helping these elders, man, because they helped your parents. They gave you some place. They gave your parents some place to stay where they didn't have no place to stay, and they babysit your little dirty behinds. That ain't right. Nobody respects the elders nowadays, man. That's something I miss coming up. Let it be that let it be that you raise your hand to your mama. Man, man, all your friends will beat you up. Ain't that nowadays, boy? Kids want to fight their mamas and things like. Come on, man. Kids want to fight their fathers and Jesus. I saw one little girl. She was on video slapping her grandmother. That can't happen in front of me. My grandmother raised me. That cannot happen in front of me. That's something my soul won't tolerate. It can't happen. You know, it just can't. I know we're supposed to be talking about neighborhood fathers and so forth, but I'm just gonna switch it to elders now in the neighborhood. I mean, what? Why do we lose our way with that? Why? Well, it has nothing to do right now. I am a black man speaking, but I'm not just speaking to black men. I'm speaking to all. Let's just say I'm speaking to all men. Since it's a father show, I'm speaking to all men. What happened, man? Why don't we stand up anymore? Why don't we come together anymore? What we so ashamed of? What we so afraid of? Because it's harder to stay in poverty than it is to work yourself out of poverty. Think about that. All the time you stay in poverty, it's just harder because it's the same grind day after day. But what if you put that energy into getting out of poverty and then you lift yourself up, reach back, lift someone else who wants to be lifted up. You can't lift everyone up. So don't get distracted by my words and thinking I'm saying you can help everyone. You can help those who want to be helped. You can't help those who don't want to be helped. You just if they want to get left behind, leave them behind. They'll catch on eventually and seek you out for help. Don't go seek them out. Can't stand that either. I mean, stop squeaking. Yeah, what happened? What happened to us? We used to be the voices of the community. We did. The mothers were the backbone. We were the voices. Where are we today? Come on, fathers, help me out. Where are we today? Where? Even if we all going through something, which we all are, that shouldn't stop you from using the most powerful thing you have. That's your voice. Guided by your heart, though. Your heart got to be firm and pure when you step into a situation like that because you get sniffed out as fake real quick. I could still go down to the corners and talk to them hard heads that on the corner. But the spirit has to move me to do that. That's not something you take upon yourself to do on a daily basis. You don't, because you're gonna get used up. Number one. Number two, you're gonna get burned out. And number three, what happens when you stop coming around? They're gonna say, "Oh, it's just another sucker that came around and wasted our time." So you do it, and you let them know that the good Lord moved me to do it today. Ain't no guarantee I'm gonna be back tomorrow, but I just want to impart these words on you. Because most of them will listen. That's how I could walk through a crowd of 10 of them in my neighborhood and nothing. What's up, Mr. G? I'm good. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Because I let them know I'm not afraid of you. You just an extension of me any damn way. So why am I going to be afraid of an extension of me? That's what they are. They're using the term now, YNs. You know what the hell it stands for. I don't have to repeat it. I hate that because those YNs can be our leaders tomorrow if we just come to them straight up and come to them with a love that they'll understand. Just straight up, just have a conversation, and one of them will step up and say, "Yeah, eventually step up and say, I could use someone to talk to, man. I could use some help." But he's going to say that away from the crowd because you don't want to say that in the crowd because then you'll be viewed as weak. Because showing compassion is a weakness, where it takes more strength to show compassion than it does to show cruelty. They're the same coin, but they each have different teachings. You know, I have a daughter, so what I may consider compassion coming from me is cruelty to her. Like, I don't want you to wear that dress, or I don't want you to dress like that when you're going out. Why? You take everything away from me. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you showing off the world what you have. I want them to work to get to know you, you know? But now that she's older, she understands that. Because she never saw it like that when she was 15. And she was overdeveloped by the time she was 14. And I was always afraid. I was so afraid all the time. Not for not for me. Just what I would do if something happened. You know? But, you know, God God is good, nothing happened. Same thing with my sons. I have to tell them, be mindful of the young ladies that you deal with, and protect yourself always because everything that feels good ain't good. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna go for 3 more minutes. I'll be good. 55 minutes. That's good enough. Sometimes you have to know when to cut it off. Hmm. Well, yeah, I was so wishing they would come on the show today, man. But like I said, there's always a next time. There's always a next time. I've been getting feedback on the show from different places, different people. Um, so I'm appreciating the feedback. I'm appreciating the feedback. Right now you might not see the numbers on here, but like I said, most things come in time. My purpose for doing this is something a whole lot more than numbers. I want the numbers, make no mistake. I gotta stop rocking in this damn chair. But my purpose for doing it is because fathers need a voice. We don't have a voice, so I didn't anoint myself this thing. God tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it, Graham." See, because let me break something down to you. Uh, my mother prayed for me when she got pregnant. She said, God protect this child from that so he won't get harmed. He won't get harmed. My auntie called me her treasure from the day I was born. Hmm. And my grandmother said, "What a man." Because see, my grandmother said, "The sun is shining and the rain are pour while you were born." I don't know what they're going, but you are going to be one special man. And the God, Almighty God, in His wisdom said, "I know the world couldn't handle this man 100%, which is why I named him Graham." Figure that mathematics out, why my name is Graham now, you know. You couldn't handle 100% of me, so the good Lord decided just to give you a gram of me. Yeah, all right. So on that note, I'm going to shut it down and wish everybody the best. and just thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate those that showed up, that popped in and popped out, hit like and shared. And what's up, Phil? Carl Roberts. This gentleman here has been around me forever. I gotta give him. He was with me when I was with somebody else who was gonna rename nameless. And then he was with me when I was with Major Key. He was with me when I was had the Troy Graham experience. I think he came on a couple of times on the other shows I did too. Coach's Corner, Boxing, Rhythm, and Beats. I think you came on there a couple of times. Ring 10. You probably were in the yeah. So he's a fan, and I appreciate it, man. Keep on keeping on, good brother. I appreciate you. All right. Bless up one and all, man. I'm gonna exit stage left and hold on now. Five, four, three, two, one. Bless up. Man.